Welcome back to Behind the Veil. Thanks for joining us here today, guys. Let's
What's
get
up?
there's
I'm here
Bonesy.
in the
There's
house.
Bones. How you doing, brother?
I'm here. I'm happening. What's up?
Yeah, man. I like the background.
Yes, I'm trying to switch it up, be more dynamic.
There you go. Yeah, man. It feels good to
I
be
like
back
your
on
background,
here.
man.
Yeah, this is from
Peaceful.
Mounds Park when I was up there with you.
Yep, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Y'all know right where it is. Yep, the
Take the
mountain
path.
is right that way. Yep,
Yep. Yeah, we walked right through the mountain to get there. Yeah.
yep,
Take the
love it.
path less traveled, and there it is.
Yeah, yep. And I'm thinking that I know, and that's funny that that's there because I think we was talking about that at that time too. But I think that's close to where the cave is, somewhere around in
Oh,
that area.
really?
Yeah, I think so. I
That'd
just
be
always get
cool.
the feeling that's where it is. I always feel because I look everywhere for it. Yeah, because they covered it up, and of course it was in the
Mm,
'60s when they covered it up, and
wow.
some girls had gotten lost in there, and Kat had mentioned that there was many veins to that, different
Mm,
routes that even the people who own the property didn't even know about. Some of them were closed off, but
mm.
spirit beings or whatever had shown her some things or whatever, which I don't doubt it at all. So, but anyway, yeah,
Especially after meeting her. So yeah, let's talk about that for a second. I do. We haven't talked like for real in like 2 weeks, man. It's
I
like
know, I
with
know.
all the family stuff, people coming through and visiting, and like
I've been
so
ready.
Kat and Nikki and her family. I think it's Kat, Nikki, Danny, and the little girl Freya. I can't remember the other girl's name. She didn't talk much. I can't remember her
Yeah,
name.
she stayed. She's probably stayed in the phone, probably on
Yeah,
that phone.
she's more to
Yeah,
herself, which I can understand and respect because that's exactly how I was when I was younger.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, they had a hell of a road trip. They started in Wisconsin. They're from Wisconsin. They drove to Indiana to meet with you and
yes,
Kim.
yes, which
And
was very
then
nice of them to
yeah,
do. I thought that was very, very sweet and genuine, and really much had a good visit. Was short. It was short, but it was sweet. And yeah, enjoyed. It's funny because you really don't know what somebody looks like. I had all these visions. I didn't know if she looked like a gypsy. Because I know she was psychic. I knew that she, was like that. But I just had these like you always imagine like see on TV, the person with the crystal ball, or what
yeah.
psychic stuff, But she's just a normal looking chick, just normal, just like. But it's funny. It was funny, But it was a good meeting, man. Had a good time. I was glad to see Nikki and see her up and moving because her situation before you guys had that session. Uh,
Hmm.
she was bedridden and I mean bad. So seeing a story like that evolve is nice. It's nice to see. It's a beautiful thing, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean to go from and she was bedridden like 2 months ago or whenever it was when we did that. It was right after we got back, so it was in the middle of April, in the middle of the
Yeah.
end of April, and she was in a lot of pain and bedridden, and we did that group healing session with Africa and myself, and she had a miraculous miracle. It was a miracle
Yeah. Yeah.
that happened, and a month or two later, they're on a road trip across the country to get their reconnection done. So they went to see BoneZee, and then I was in Indiana. So we went from Wisconsin to Indiana, from Indiana to New York State to see Case
Yeah.
to get their reconnection. And then
Yeah.
from there, they came down to Maryland. I'm right outside of Baltimore. So they came down to here to see the land that I live on, to see this nature out here. And let me tell you, that was an amazing freaking experience. They showed
Yeah.
up here on Tuesday night. They didn't get down here to like 9:30. So it
Uh,
was dark, but she wanted to see it at night. And I was like, cool, let's do it. We can see lights and whatever. So she gets down here, and I've never seen anything like it. When she pulled in the driveway, we got out of the car. Every every tree that you could see, as far as you could see, was completely lit up like a Christmas tree with flashing lights. But it was all lightning bugs. I mean, like flashing fast, all in the tree, like super fast. All the trees, and these are massive trees. And
Yeah.
it stayed that way for like 2 hours, even after they left. So they were
Yeah.
absolutely putting on a show for us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Unbelievable. Never seen anything like that. Like you know, like in New York City where they decorate that big ass tree in Times Square and it's like it's super lit up and the flashing lights, the small quick flashing, like that's how it was. It was just like quick, super flashing for hours. I've been
Wow.
around lightning bugs in the country for most of my adult life, and I've never seen lightning bugs do that. I've
No
never
shit.
seen that many of them in a concentrated area. And then not just that, there had to be like millions of them because we walked the whole property and it's like, we probably walked a good 3/4 of a mile to a mile around the loop that's back here. And then out front here and all the way down, like as far as you could see, it was just
That
lit up like Christmas, dude. It was
is awesome.
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, and I couldn't get it, like you couldn't really capture it on video. Actually, I didn't even think about taking a video of it. I was just so
In awe.
stunned. Yeah, just in
Yeah.
awe. Like this
Yeah.
is magical. And we're all
Yeah.
just standing out there basking in it. And Kat can talk to these interdimensional elementals or what have you. And
Uh,
and she found some kind of cave network here too, that like water was running. She could feel the water running under the ground, which is like right over here. And she said at one point, like the water swirled around, and it's like she could feel it. She's like, yeah,
uh,
you might like if you go to a place and like you might feel off balance in that area or something. But I was like,
uh,
it was really a surreal experience. And then they came back the next day during the day, and we walked the property. Um, I mean, we maybe saw just a little portion of it, but the thing she was telling me that she saw, like I don't see them, but like there's a sign. She said there's a guardian here, and it's
uh,
right out front. And you can see the staircase kind of coming down into this, into our dimension, and it's like it's literally looks like a house. It's like a standalone group of bushes and trees, and it looks like a house. There's like little windows and doors, like you can see in there, and inside of it's like just a little network that you can move around in our dimension
yeah.
that we see. So it's probably literally their temple or what have you. And there's steps that come down, and she said only the guardians have steps on their structures.
Right. Yeah.
And I could kind of see the angle at which, and I stood at the bottom of the steps, and it was like that rush of energy. It was like, holy shit, like dude, this is
Yeah.
insane. And like I took so many pictures. I got to send them to her. She just got home, like a day or two ago, and so I'm gonna send
She
all
sent
these
me a
pictures.
few.
Huh?
She sent me a few. I think, she sent me a few, and I think they're from your place.
Yeah, I sent her some yesterday out because she wanted an update because the pace at which they're like putting this together out here. So it's like
Um,
every day it changes in appearance. Like all the trees are different. There's different pieces added in there. It's really crazy because once you start
yeah.
paying attention to that, it's like holy shit! Like trees don't grow that fast. Like
Right.
there's a whole nother tree coming out of the tree now. Like since she left,
No
which was
shit.
4 days ago.
Damn. That's crazy, ain't it?
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
I sent her a picture last night, and there was I just wanted to show her that specific piece, and she zoomed it in and sent it back, and like in the corner there's this whole like little section that's lit up in orange.
uh-huh.
She says if there's orange, you go up and touch it because then you're being their dimension. I didn't
No,
see it. I didn't see it with my eye. There was no animals over there. There was a deer in that direction, but I watched her walk on through,
uh,
like out of the frame. And she sent that back. I was like, dude, I didn't even see that. Like, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, oh, and at night, like when the before they left, there was this little spot in the bushes in the driveway, the where it lit up and the light didn't turn off. It was
Really.
like a little tiny light, like
And
in
it
the
was
window or something.
yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't like green. It was a real faint light, but it just stayed on.
Yeah.
And they all noticed it, and I took some pictures of it. So I want to send her that too and see
I've,
see what we captured on the night photos.
yeah, I've really been like trying to look and see what I could see, you know what I mean? Because she had said something about stuff, a lot of it's in the shadows. Of course,
Hmm.
I've had so much crazy shit happen to me that, you know, I believe anything. People say that this, that, whatever. I'm not denying anything is real anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not limiting myself to that. I don't want to be in a box. If there's something to see, I want to see it, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to allow some belief system to stop me from seeing it, or feel like I'm looking stupid, or feel like just by believing in it I'm stupid or something. You know, because a lot of times that's what we do. We're programmed, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I haven't really seen anything. You know, she had told me she had given me an attunement, whatever that is, and whatever it is, I'll accept it. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's going to be some other dimensional shit to see, because I have seen some other things, and I've just talked about that before. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to see more. I'm sort of in that point where I've gotten to where I'm sort of ready. I don't think I was ready then,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I'm more comfortable with it. I'm more comfortable with knowing that you know, everything is energy, and everything is consciousness. So, and you know, some of that can be you, some of that could be a consciousness, an oversoul, or whatever you're sharing, you know, a consciousness, a part of you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
trees or elements, whatever. And it could be communicating, it could be your higher self, it could be a bird, could be a tree, could be just something that you know, kind of it's invisible, but it kind of moves across. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, when these things happen, and they happen at certain times, um, there's messages, there's things you need to stop and kind of process. What was you just thinking about, or what, you know, what was you just thinking about? What kind of, like, why, what's the timing? What, you know, always read into shit. Always try to figure out what is your higher self trying to tell you, because you know, you had said something about you just want to do the show on manifesting and law of attraction and whatnot. So uh, you know, we we think the law of attraction, we think we can set and, you know, just like think of something and manifest it. Well, there's, you know, there's going to be some signs, there's going to be paths that you need to take to get you to that, and you need to be like looking for that shit. You need to be listening. You need to be like, when that clock is 555, there's a reason. You know, if that clock is 111, whatever, when you see a synchronicity, when there's something that happens, or you see something move in the bush, whatever it is, something that's trying to get your attention, something that's trying to get you to think about, whoa, you know, just because a lot of times that's the path that you're supposed to be going, or that is the answer, or there's something there, because your higher self can only communicate with you in so many ways, you know. And a lot of it's synchronicities or elementals, birds, trees, something chirping. You know, if you get a feeling that maybe a bird comes and lands, and you get this feeling of peace because you were just thinking of something that troubled you, but you get this, you know, you have to understand, there's a reason, you know, that you brought that bird there, you know, you brought that there for peace, and it's
Yeah.
maybe guidance, you know.
That, and I think it's also your soul family giving you messages also will come through, especially cardinals, because I see those every day. And there's like a unique, specific. It's like almost like a mutated version of a cardinal. It's really strange. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
Um, and they're here and they fly with the cardinals. It's very
yeah,
strange. But yesterday, I went outside. I was kind of having like a blah day yesterday. Like I had stomach issues. Like I think it was more of ascension symptoms, and I'm going through like a cleanse kind of deal. And it started really feeling it. And so I went outside in the afternoon. I took my shoes off and I just planted my feet in the ground. And every time I do that, I say, you know, to Gaia, I say the God in me says, "Welcome home."
yeah,
And it's like I feel that rush of energy, and it just comes, and I connect with the planet. And then I envision an energetic connection with the planet, like from my root chakra to the center of the earth. Like I wrap a cord around the center of the earth in my mind, and it's like I bring that ball of energy up from Gaia, like in up to the heart chakra and throat chakra to the crown, and then I bring from the sun, or you can create your own light source and bring that light down, so it's like, double or meets down at the heart chakra. It's very powerful. It's like really,
right.
really powerful. But anyways, I was doing that and I saw a cardinal. So I closed my eyes and I envisioned my consciousness connecting with that cardinal. And, you know, the same way I did it there, I felt like it was like a ball of energy and a ball of energy for me. And they met in the middle. And I felt it. Like, as soon as it connected, I felt that connection. I opened my eyes. There's four cardinals. One of them flew within 3 feet of me and landed in a branch right above my head and
Uh-huh.
kept jumping around that branch, the different branches, looking at me like, just like,
Yeah.
you know, just staring at me. Like, that was there.
Right.
And I knew it was
Yeah.
that's a message. That was something that really shifted the energy of that day for me. Like, that really made me forget about all the issues I was having with my stomach and
Uh-huh.
insides, and like I really settled into the moment, and I felt a lot better, and my day was great after that. You know, so it was almost like a healing thing. It was beautiful. They come close because, you know, the bird feeder's like 20, 30 feet away from the house, and they're always there, and they'll land in front of you sometimes, but like, there was four of them all
Right.
within 15 feet of me.
Yeah, that's pretty rare because usually there's only two, a male and a female.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It was the two red ones. There's like a very bright, beautiful red one that's like beyond the normal scope of red of a cardinal. And then there's
Uh-huh.
another one that's, you know, the normal red.
Right.
And then there's the two other ones that are they're cardinals, so they have like an orange beak and they have that red little whatever
Yeah.
peak
Yeah,
on
those are
their
the
head.
females. Those are the females.
Well, but the females are usually just brown.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But these are like gray in the chest, and they have red wings.
Huh.
It's like maroon red, and it goes into the gray, and it's like an orange peak on the head and an orange red beak, dude. It's crazy. I've never seen anything
Wow.
like it.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And I only ever saw one. And the one day I was telling my brother, I'm like, there's like only one of these around, and he flies with the Cardinals. And then the one I was talking about took off and flew to the branch, and there was another one sitting there. And then another one came flying and sat on the same branch. And then another one. So there was four of those birds all of a sudden. I'd only ever seen one, and then there was four. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
okay.
It's
I guess there's
crazy.
four of them now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, we got a robin. It's kind of funny because there's this robin. He made eye contact here a couple of days ago. This dude was just doing everything he can to come over and get closer and closer and closer and make sure that me and him are looking. But she had already mentioned him, and he's a fatter one. He's fatter than the other robins, and his feathers are always sort of ruffled, and he looks kind of gray. He looks like an old fat robin. And he never eats out of the feeders. He never does anything. He always comes and sits. He lazily sits in like a fork in the tree. He'll just sit in there. He looks like a little fat turkey, man. He's a badass robin, dude. But that's how you know it's him, because his feathers are always sort of ruffled and gray looking. And, you know, he's fatter, you know, and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't, like all the other birds are going ape shit over food, and food drops, they're down here doing this and that. And the other robins come and they're looking for worms. They're always pecking around for worms and bugs and shit, you know. This dude, he don't. He just chills. He comes, sits there, and makes sure it's like he makes sure that you can see him. You know, he's looking at you, and if he's not thinking that you're looking, he'll move closer. You know, and he just sits there and looks right at you. He turns his head, looks at you, looks at you from the side. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah.
he is. You can feel it. You know, you're like, man, this fucking dude. You know, because I got a squirrel. I got this one squirrel who does the same shit. I got about 4 or 5 different ones, but and there's a few rabbits out here. You just get to knowing which ones are which, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But this one squirrel, this dude is always putting on a show for me. He's always coming down, dancing around, doing shit, bouncing around, doing flips. He does all kinds of shit, staring
Wow.
at me, you know, trying to get me to laugh, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to him and shit, you know. Fucking neighbors probably think I'm nuts, but squirrel, he's out here doing the Macarena and shit. I'm like, do it, you know, get it out like a squirrel. You know, what you ain't he might do the Macarena. I don't know. I don't know. He's doing something.
Squirrel
Squirrel
Macarena.
Macarena.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, we got a lot of bunnies here, and it's funny. The other night, it was very synchronistic. I was watching Jessica from It's About Divine Time. She was doing a card reading, and she was talking about bunnies. And she pulled a card that had bunnies on it, and she had seen 3 bunnies like outside that day, and she kept saying it was like the Trinity, you know. And
Yeah.
as I was listening to her, I went outside, and there was 3 fucking bunnies in a triangle like formation where I was
No shit.
right there. I'm like, wow, like
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
synchronicities are really, really picking up. And Luna Ash was saying that this year, you know, because next month, July is the beginning of the new galactic year. It's like, you know, the the rooting into the divine feminine energy. But she said the next year we're really going to start to understand and see the meanings of these synchronicities a lot clearer. And she said the year of this year, you know, that's about the end now, was a year of finding your purpose and learning, you know, getting more onto your path and just knowing your truth, you know, something to that
Yeah.
effect. And so I feel like everything is perfectly lined up and manifested in my life according to the energy. You know, it's like
Right.
everything is in alignment to uh such a degree, you know, like exact degree. I mean, like everything. So I really want to get into that. She does, like, she goes by the Mayan, I think, galactic thing or whatever. She reads all the planets and systems in each planet, and their grade or retrograde has an effect on the on what your energy is, and you know, different healing for different signs. And that's like, it really resonates with me. But anyways, I didn't want to get into that. But it's the manifestations
Uh,
are are so intense. So if you don't believe about manifestations, and I decided to test it out. So I believed it to a degree, but I was like, everyone kept telling me you do the 21 days. You know, if you do something, you do it for at least 21 days. And that's how long it takes to reprogram your subconscious into changing your belief system. If you do the same thing for 21 days, that kind of roots it in there, you know, really programs it in there. So I did this manifestation meditation from it was one done by Luna Ash and Steve Noble. It's I'll try to remember to link it below this video.
uh,
And it was really my favorite meditation. It was a visualization of a house, and I was still in my old house with my ex, and I really wanted to get out of there. So I was like, well, this is perfect. Let me manifest a house. Let's do this. You know, I need a place to live. I need to get
right.
the fuck out of here.
Right.
And so I did it. I did it for I did a little more than 21 days, but it was at a certain point I knew that I didn't need to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because one morning I'd get up really early and do it every morning. And one morning I got up and started the meditation. I was like, I just had that intuition, that feeling that I'm
It's
good.
done.
I'm gonna do
It's
this
done.
anymore.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it. I didn't think about it ever again.
Yeah.
And about a week before Palm Springs, and maybe a little bit more, it was right when I was able to book my trip. So when I was able to like really get it, so everything came into alignment at the same time. So I learned I was going to be able to attend the training seminar in Palm Springs, which is, you know, I put that in the universe. So that's something else I manifested, because I put that out there back in like December and January. But
Right.
anyway,
Right.
so it was that. So I was talking to my brother. I was telling him that, you know, I manifested this. I put that out into the universe, and it's come to fruition now. Everything is aligned perfectly. And I told him about this meditation that I did like a couple days ago and how I did it for the time. And he had already known, but he didn't tell me. But his landlord stopped by the house one day and asked him if he wanted to go with her to drive around the property, because, you know, it's 185 acres out here. And so he went with her. And I think at that time we were looking for places to live, because we were going to go in together and you know, rent a house or something somewhere else. And I think somehow he had mentioned that to the landlord, which brought up, like, she loves him because he's, you know, a responsible person, and he loves the land. He helps her maintain the lands and, you know, protect it and keep people off, because people try to illegally hunt back here all the time. So,
Yeah.
you know, we help her out. You can't, she's just one lady, she can't surveil 185 acres all day every day.
Right.
So they were driving together, and I think he said something that hinted to the fact that he might be leaving, and she offered him a house. There's another house on this property that's paid off. It's an old house. and she owns it outright, and she's gonna give it to him.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
Give it to him.
Yeah,
And it was like right as I was finished that manifestation meditation, and I let it come. And I wasn't very specific of like what I wanted. I didn't have a very like visual picture.
right.
I just wanted a house, and I envisioned a house that was out in the woods, that was surrounded by trees and nature, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
it's a nice house. It's old and it needs some work. Like it probably needs a lot of work, but she's gonna sign the deed over, like
that's awesome,
free
dude.
house.
That's
So
yeah,
I manifested a house. It's
hell yeah,
absolutely possible. It's like whatever you put out there, it's like a law of attraction too. You're putting it out there, you're consciously creating, and you're putting that into your vortex, what have you. And when you become a vibrational match, you get into vibrational alignment with what's in your vortex. It's like your vortex is like that escrow of all the manifestations of your that you could possibly imagine, of your wildest dreams, everything that you put into the bank, so to speak, before you came into this life. You've aligned everything up, and anything is possible. No matter what you can think of or dream of, you can have it.
right.
So it's like
Yes,
you get into that vibrational alignment, then the universe shows that to you. It gives it to you. You're like graduating to the next point, or whatever, however you want to think of it. There's many different ways or perspectives you can do it. But I couldn't believe that, man. It was so surreal. And I remember um, talking to my brother about it, telling him about it, and he was like, he was so shocked at it, he didn't even tell me about the house, that he got a house for like a few days, because he's like, it was too good to be true. Like, I didn't believe it. And I'm like, at the time, one of my mantras that I was saying all the time is like, I expect things that are too good to be true to happen to me on a daily basis. And he says like, it was too good to be true. And then like, no, it happened. It's real. We have a house if
yeah,
you
that's awesome.
that's getting nuts.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you was talking about synchronicities earlier, and synchronicities are sort of like you got a guitar tuner, and when you get in key and you got certain, you hit a certain note and it hits a certain key, or it hits a certain note, certain frequency. The peg comes over and it dials right in, tells you that you're right on. That's what synchronicities are. They tell you that's your like guitar tuner. That's telling you that you're on that frequency of whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And it's kind of like the really the only feedback loop that you're going to get, kind of confirming that you're going the right way, you're in alignment with whatever it is. And you have to be patient with it and just allow it to be, because where you're at is exactly where you're supposed to be. And that's what, a lot of people get caught up in the law of attraction. I remember when I first was awakened or whatever a couple of years ago, and I started down this path, and I started hearing about the law of attraction and how you can manifest this. And of course, everybody's saying manifest $1 million overnight. All these videos.
Mm.
I'm like I told you, I'm staring into the fucking Sri Yantra and I'm chanting all kinds of shit, and I'm just like trying to. But there's a mindset. It's almost like if you grip something too tight, it'll slip out of your hands. Like something that's slippery, it can slip out because you're gripping it too tight.
Mm.
Law of attraction and manifesting is a fickle little deal. It's not as cut and dry as what you think. It's not. You just don't sit down and manifest. There's a process that goes on with your mind. That's why you do that 21-day mantra, because you have to really change your mind to get in alignment with the process and to accept the way the process is.
Yes.
And when you're forcing it and you're like, it's got to happen, I need this, my rent's due, I got to have money now, trying to
Mm.
manifest it. No, it ain't. That's not how it works, man. It's like your mind will, you'll realize it's hard to describe, but
Yeah.
you just have to go with the mindset that it's coming. And you have to appreciate that it's coming, and you have to appreciate that you are exactly where you need to be, because that process has so many steps to it, and you're at this step, and you got to go to this step, and then you got to So you just have to trust in it. You have to trust in that, you know. So
Yeah.
synchronicities are that confirmation that you are heading in that direction.
The most difficult yet important part of the law of attraction is, it's like a 5-step process. Basically, you meditate, quiet your mind, you ask for what you want, you put it out there, and then I can't
Feel it.
remember exactly, but
You
basically
feel
ask for it.
it.
You know it's coming. You know that source and your inner being has aligned it, and you gotta be a vibrational match to that. So you gotta shift your emotions. You have to find a way. So let's say you want a big house or a new house or a new car. You have to shift your emotions. You have to shift your thought patterns to knowing you already have it. You have to be happy and excited every day that you have it already, that it's literally in your reality. You have to be and act like it's literally in your physical reality right now. And if you can hold that mindset, you're blurring the line between the present and the future of your
Right.
reality. So you're
Yeah.
imagining you have the future already because you know it's in your future. It's in your vortex. It's coming to you. You have it. As long as you don't get in your own way, it's there. So if you can keep your mindset to already having it and being in that state of acceptance and belief and knowledge that it's gonna happen, and then you just have to be open to allow it to happen the way it's going to happen. Like, you
Right.
can't have any expectations on it. I feel like something that we had, like something with a place somewhere that we were looking at, like we had expectations, like we were really excited about this place. It was like an awesome place, dreamy place, and it was out in the woods, it was beautiful in nature, it was a little bit expensive, but it was like, fuck it, I'm abundant. I have abundance as my birthright. It'll fall into place if it's meant to be. And I felt like it was meant to be. And all of a sudden it wasn't. Like it was just ripped out. So I was like, fuck, like, okay. And I put a lot of time and energy into that. And we all of us involved were like, we were really excited about it. And it just got pulled out all of a sudden. And like my first reaction was like, oh, well, that's kind of odd. Well, then immediately shifted, like, well, I guess that wasn't the place. That's not where it's meant to be. This is resistance. So if you're getting resistance on something, you're not going with the flow. And that's another part of it, the law of attraction. If you should just, it's not even so much law of attraction, it's just your natural being and how you should, not should, how you should want to live your life. If you can go with the flow and just like I think I said on my video the other day, and it's like we're all taught that you have to work 80, 90, 100 hours a week to be successful. So it's like we get out into the world and we take our boat out into the river and we start paddling right up the fucking stream. We're just going against the current our entire lives. And it's like, just let go, get rid of the paddles, turn around and just go with the flow of the river. Just let it
Right.
flow. The path of least resistance is your happy place. Like literally, if you follow your excitement or what your joy is, what your passion is, it'll go down with no resistance. And it's like when I went to Palm Springs, we booked several different places and it just wasn't right. It didn't work. We were getting resistance and we trusted our instincts and kept going. And it ended up being up to like a week or two before the trip where we actually booked the place we stayed at. And it was incredibly awesome there. And it was like $200 less than everything else we were looking at, you know?
Right.
We
Right.
just trusted. We didn't go with resistance. We went with the flow, and we were guided into this brand new, newly renovated place out in the desert that had a beautiful view, and couldn't have asked for anything better. Same thing happened when we went to Long Beach. It was down to like 5 or 7 days before the trip, and all of a sudden this beach house opened up that was literally on the beach, and it was a 2-bedroom, and it had, or no, it was a 1 bedroom, but it was massive. It was a condo, and the apartment number was 12.
Right.
Like
That's crazy.
that's
Yeah.
been my jam ever since then. When I came out to Indiana, it was 12, 12, 12, 9, 12,
Yeah.
6, 9,
Yeah.
12, like threes, 33 all day, every day.
Oh yeah. Synchronicities,
Right.
man. You're on the right path. Yeah.
But yeah, so then once you create that, so once you like say you meditate and you visualize you're creating this house. So you say it's a house, you want a house. So you visualize this house. Then the next step is to own it. Know that you have it. Be in that mindset, that emotion of excitement. So or a lot of people get tripped up is like, so when I have the house, then I'll be excited. Or, when I meet my twin flame, then I'll be in love, or then I'll be happy. And then this and this. It's all conditional. So you're waiting
Right.
for something. You're expecting you'll be happy when you have something. Instead, be happy now and know that you have it. Know that it'll come to you in due time. Know that the universe is going to reveal that to you and show you through synchronicity and through the flow, your path of least resistance. It's going to come to
Yeah.
you.
And our ultimate goal as humans, I mean, uh, one of our main goals is to what we want to feel. And all those things that you mentioned, whether it's a house, it's a car, it's a twin flame, whatever it might be, uh, it essentially leads you to this feeling that you're after. It, either a feeling of security or a feeling of love or a feeling of accomplishment or whatever the feeling, that you're, fun, whatever. And if you're already feeling that, you've already accomplished the goal. So, part of, the law of attraction, and that's why I say it's a slippery thing, because it's not just as clear as what you think. It's really, you change the way you think, and that's exactly the job is done. When you think, or you change the way you feel, I mean,
Yeah.
because you feel as if you already have it. So therefore, your satisfaction, you already got the dopamine or the fix or the, what you needed.
Yep.
You're getting that because you're feeling it as if you already have it. So you've accomplished half of it already.
Yeah.
So now you're just waiting on the shit to come. But the most important part was feeling that. And I know it's hard for people to say, well, how can I feel that? I'm going to this crappy ass job every single day, get stuck in traffic. I'm not getting a raise. I live in this swampy ass nasty house. I can't get out of it because I can't save up. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's not going to happen boom like that. And that's one of the things you have to learn about the law of attraction. You have to change your mindset. You have to follow your synchronous. You have to keep your eyes open, and little things will happen here and there. It's going to change. Every little thing changes your situation. You can simply you're going to work. I talked about this one time. You're going to work this one way, and you go every single day, and you decide, well, I'm going to change just one thing about my day, and I'm going to start driving. I'm going to hang a left here, hang a right here, and go this way. Well, next thing you know, by taking that different route, you see this person on the corner. You're like, is that Bob so-and-so? Wait a minute. So you turn back around, flip it around. It's somebody you went to school with, and now here you are off onto something else. This guy's looking for a who knows what, just what you're looking for. Are you serious? They're really hiring right now? He's like, yeah, dude, here's an application, or whatever. So, you start making these little changes, and you start seeing different things, and you change the way you think, and you change the way you move, and you change the way you do things, and little change by little change by little change, things change. Oh yeah, sweet, love it. Yeah, but and how fitting, because like I said, the synchronicities are letting you know that that's what you need to be doing, and that's what you need to be doing is making these little changes and and everything you do, as above, so below, and as without, within. So you're firing different neurons as well. So your brain begins to fire different because you're seeing different things. You're going a different way. You're leaving a little bit earlier, and you're thinking different because you're seeing things different, and everything around you is a little bit different because you've been going that one way so long. Now your brain starts to fire different. You might come up with some idea. You're like, oh shit, I forgot all about so-and-so came into town, and he said his brother's got, or whatever. But my point is, you get out of that mundane robot slave, doing the same thing. I get up at 8 o'clock. I go over here and get my coffee. I get my gas, and I take off, hit the road. I do the same shit every day. Get off at the same exit and it becomes, you just do it and you do it
Yeah.
and you do it.
Go through
That's
the
why your life is like that. You need to change some shit.
because that's how you're living your life. Yeah, it's not just the trip to work, is that's just a metaphor, because that's how you're living your entire life. You're just going
Exactly.
through
Right,
motion.
right.
You're not really happy with what you do. You're not really happy with your circumstances. So you gotta change it. The only you can change it. Only you can affect how you feel. And you really don't need to change anything physically. If you can change the way you view those things
Right.
and see it in a different perception, and be grateful, and just thankful and in love with yourself, and grateful for your situation, grateful for your life, grateful to be alive, honor your ancestors, just have that appreciation to you, and your life changes dramatically, and just by doing that, because everybody
Right.
wants to complain and bitch and talk about other people. If you just stop doing that and just be thankful and grateful for everything you have, and then everything shifts in your life, and your inner self is just more, you're more at peace, you're more in alignment with your inner self then. So, and like with the synchronicities too, it's like, I know sometimes, and this has happened to me several times recently, it's like I just get this feeling, and it's usually like you get that feeling, and you look at the clock, and it's that time, it's that synchronicity, or it's just changing to that number.
Yeah.
But several times lately, within the last week or two, I just get this feeling, and I'm like, I know there's a synchronicity, and I look for it, and I find it. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like look at the clock because it's 3:33. It's like there's there's some kind of synchronicity here right now, and like I know it. So it's
Right.
like my higher self's like, find it, not like turn and look at the clock. Now it's just like, okay, it's there, figure it out. And I just get that intuition. I'm like, where is it? Okay, what is it? And then I can find it, which is, it's cool that that's happening, because that makes me look at more than just the clock, at the time, at the numbers.
Right.
Look at
Yeah.
everything.
You start to change your mind. You start to change the way you see. You start to change the way you think. That's what it's all about, and that's how you change your feelings. And once you, like I say, if you can change the way that you feel, it's a wrap. I mean, if you could just literally, let's say you got the worst job in the world and the worst relationship, if you change the way you feel about that and you say, oh, this is the best job in the world, this is the best one. I mean, if you seriously believe that, if you seriously can convince yourself of that, you've won. You know what I mean? So really, it's all within you and your perception and what you consider failure and success, and the lines in the sand that you draw. So
Mhm.
um, when you get up every day, you may think, well, this is shitty, 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 but in all reality, when you get up, man, you've got a whole, man, the world is you're master of this shit.
Yes.
You're awake. You can do anything. I mean, you can do anything. So you're awake. You can change the world, and you can start. But I mean, it's not going to happen like that.
No.
But you're awake and you're alive.
That's
Heart's
yeah.
beating, dude. You're not a slave. You
Yeah.
can start making some changes.
You are
Don't be
here
scared.
right now at this time in history for a reason. You're here for the shift. There's a
Yep.
massive shift in consciousness on this planet. And you came in here, you came into this life with a purpose. And part of that purpose was to experience this shift, especially for old souls. I feel like I've been here forever. I feel like I've been
Right.
part of this experiment, part of this game since the beginning. And, we're all like excited to come in at this time. And the people that are transitioning in this back into spirit, like, I think there's like waves of people that were like killing themselves, and just a lot of shit was happening over the last couple of years. And it's like, we lose a lot of good people, and people are like, really, like, why? What's the purpose of that? What's this? What's the reason? Why do they do that? Well, they're needed. They need to come back in here as a child and grow up. So when they grow up and get into that space, like my kids and kids have, that were born from 2012 on, they're all those souls that are here, and they're going to be the next generation that's going to affect major change in this planet, because they're born with a
Right.
high level of consciousness. So it's like, it's like a generational thing. So I feel like with my parents' generation, like you come in with like so much of a light quotient, a percentage of your light body that your physical body can hold. And I feel like with like whatever wave. So I kind of think of it as like Dolores Cannon waves of star seeds or light workers that came in. It's like so let's say like your generation, for instance, you have a lower percentage of your light body held in your physical body, but then because we're constantly evolving, so all this is evolving our DNA, and I think that's a good reason. I think that's a part of it. So we're evolving our physical structure to allow it to hold more of your light body. Lori Ladd talked a lot about this, and it really resonated with me. So it's like, in my generation or this group of millennials, if you want to label it, have like a few more percent of a light body that we can physically hold in our physical vessel, that we can bring down from our higher selves, from our I am presence or what have you. And then now I feel like my kids have even more. So it's like I don't remember the percentages she said. She was just kind of throwing them out there. So like your parents would have had like 1% of their light body, and like you and your generation would have like 3%. So like 2 or 3 times more than your parents. And then mine would be like 6%. And then I feel like my kids are probably going to be like 9 or 10%, which if that happened back in the day, so like if your parents or my grandparents would have tried to come into this life with 6% of their light body, they wouldn't survive. They would just die. You can't hold that. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I
Uh,
sent it to you. Yeah, see me?
Yep, you were just frozen for a second.
Okay.
So I feel like that has a lot to do with what we're doing here, especially with the reconnective healing, how we're reconnecting strings and strands of our DNA, which is allowing our physical vessel to be able to hold more light. And like I feel like we can integrate more light into our life. Obviously, like it's all about your consciousness and your body, and we're all evolving, so we're all at a similar rate of like DNA and how our physical vessel operates in this new energy. So like you can choose, I think, like what level of light that you want to hold in your body. But I
Right.
don't know why I got on that tangent. Anyways, what I wanted to say was, when we're talking about like if you don't like your life, you got to change, you got to make that change of your perception and see how you see things. And it's also like there's momentum. So like when I did those entity attachment videos, I had a lot of momentum built into like negative things. So I was into the mindset that whatever your biggest problem is what you got to dedicate most time and energy to figure it out. Well,
Uh,
absolutely not the way it worked for me. Like that's what I did, and that didn't work out. No matter how much energy and thought and time and analytics that I put into it, or analyzation that I put
you
in,
just created more of it. You just
I
created
created more momentum. And
Yeah, yeah.
like that's what
You
I
gave it energy, fed it,
yeah, yeah.
feed
And
the
it's
beast.
and when you get to that level of momentum, when it's steamrolling out of control like that, you can't just shift 100% out back in. So you have to find a better thought, and then that thought, and then you build on that thought, but it keeps bringing
Right,
you back. So that's what I went through for days, because I knew I didn't want to be there. I knew they weren't my thoughts, and I still kept diving into it and diving into it, and it kept getting triggered and triggered and triggered. But that was showing me what I needed to work on myself, where I
yeah,
was vulnerable, where I didn't have, good boundaries or something. And so I heard this after I got out of it. This is most of what I'm talking about today. It's all from Abraham Hicks, Esther and Abraham Hicks. Like this is really powerful stuff. It's really changed my life and how I approach every day now. But it's like you got to create that momentum. So I was in the really negative, and I kept digging into that for 2 or 3 days, and it got real bad, like really, really bad. And but I kept shifting out. I knew I wanted to get back into my vortex, my vortex, my happy place, my alignment with my inner self, with source, with the creator. And I kept shifting back. I'd have the good thought, I'd be, I'd feel it, I'd like tingly, and I'd be right back into it. So it's like I had so much momentum built onto that thought that I was really judging and trying to control another person. And I was getting mad that they were happy even, or that they were happy because I was so sad. I'm like, how dare they be happy and be fucking hurting me like this? But ultimately, I'm the one responsible for my state of being at all times.
Yeah.
At all times. If you rely on someone else to be your way to be a happy being, then you're giving them control over you. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to
Giving
pick
up your
on it to
sovereignty.
make you happy, that's great, but don't make it the center of your focus, that if you don't have them with you at 100% of the day, that you're not happy 100% of the day. You got to be happy with yourself. That's why I always say you got to love yourself. But it's that
Right.
momentum. You got to create that momentum to get out. So, and I eventually did it. It took me days, and then I did a couple of videos about it, and we did a show about with the entity attachment. So it's like it took a lot. So a good way that's working for me, the way I think about it, is I create momentum. So if you are start to think a thought that you aren't in alignment with, that doesn't match like your inner self, your true self, then don't think that thought. Find a better
Yeah.
thought. Those thoughts are going to continue coming. It's like you have two wolves in you, in your brain or in your body, and it's like a good and bad, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, the duality of the light and dark. So whatever wolf you feed most is going to prosper. So if you feed
Yeah.
the dark's going to keep building, and feed the light's going to keep building. But no matter what you do, no matter how evil you are, you're still going to have a good thought in there. No matter how good you are, you're still going to have an evil thought pop up every now and then. So you got to be able to recognize that and point at that thought and tell it, you're not fucking welcome here. Like, you don't belong
Right.
here, get the fuck out, you know? and
Yeah.
and build on that. So it's what I've been doing, and it's really changed my life over the last like 2 weeks, and I practice it every day. And I notice, like, as soon as I wake up, my mind just goes all over the place, and then I meditate, slow my thoughts down. And then I made a list of things that make me happy, like that truly make me happy. And I go through that list, like I am loved. I am supported 100% in every aspect of my life. Like, I am in love. I am loved by the creator. I am part of the creator. That is the energy that creates worlds, like that is the energy that I hold.
Yes.
you know
Right.
that's what I am. And
Right.
I am loved. I am supported. And I just keep going over it. So if you do that, it takes like 17 seconds. You can just stay with that thought long enough for 17 seconds. You'll get another one, and then another one. And then you start to build that momentum. And then if you build that momentum in the beginning of your day, it's going to be really hard to shift you out of that, because you're going to feel so good. You're going to be so activated, so like vibrating like at a high level, like I am right now, that
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to affect my mood in a negative way. And I also know now that everything negative in my life, anything that comes up, it's something that I created. You create every aspect of your reality. No, you cannot control every part of it. Things are going to happen that are outside of your control, but you can control how you react to it. Don't
Right.
react. You got to get to a space where you respond, and that's what it's all about. So if you carry your high vibration, then when something comes up that doesn't feel good, you know that you created it. So when you're doing something that feels good, you know that you created that. This is what I did. I did this. Yeah, I feel good because I did this. So when something bad did, take responsibility for it. Yeah, I did that too. What is this showing me? What do I need to learn?
Understand about, yeah, it's
How can I?
manifestation. You're manifesting.
Yeah, and how can I shift my perception or my thoughts or beliefs to where that situation won't affect me, or I don't see it as a negative anymore, because everything is
Yeah.
universally neutral. It's the positive or negative weight that we put onto it. And
Yeah.
that felt really good to
Exactly.
get out, man. I was in such a flow state through that whole thing. It was
There you go. Yeah. And I'm about to lose some battery. How much time we been on here?
about an hour. One more
Okay.
thing I wanted to say: if you're in a problem and you're focusing on a problem, you cannot find the solution to a problem when you're at the vibration of a problem. So if you're
Right.
focusing on the problem, you're matching the vibration of that problem. You're not going to find the solution from there. So step away from the problem, raise your vibration, you'll figure it out. That's what
Right.
started me on
That's
that.
really true. Yeah. Yeah. That's, we, and some people don't meditate, some people do, but, um, you know, I forget what they call it, being in the Buddha or whatever, but when you understand the way that thoughts work, the way a thought starts with a seed and then it grows, and it's when you follow the thought all the way back to the seed, to the very beginning, you see how you begin to see how the seeds of thought are. You begin to see how um, they manifest themselves into their own growth, into their own. They head in a certain direction. A thought will start here, and it's just a seed. It's just a mere thought, but you yourself, that thing will grow. It'll turn into, who knows where you'll take it. Especially if you're a dysfunctional type of person, that thought can turn into a really insecure. Next thing you know, you're feeling these feelings, and you're fucking mad, or you're upset, or you're hurt because you've watered that seed.
Hmm.
And that's why, meditation. What you try to accomplish is no seeds. You try to get in. It's hard to say that you're in this void, because you're in the void, but you get into this place where there is no thought, and what happens is you are literally like you're you're in God. You're in God's place. Then now you are in a position of creating. You are in you're in control. You're in like this creative control state where the pureness of you're there, and not your thoughts, because your thoughts begin to own you. Your thoughts begin to grow on you like a vine, and you
Hmm.
know next thing you know, you're leafed up, and you're this tree of thoughts, and you've got this branch over here, it's this, and this over here is greed, and over here you ambition, and down here is low self-esteem, and if you come back to just nothing, now you're in that God spot. You're in that God place. You're in that creative. Now you start from nothing and create something. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's hard to articulate, but the more you do it, the more you can find that peace, and the more you can find nothingness. Like that's where you really are. That's where you really are. When you first started here in your consciousness, you didn't have all this other shit that goes along with it. There's a lot of things, lifetimes of things, this lifetime of things, the future things, because things in the future are already happening, and so there's a lot to this, you know what I'm saying? So finding some stillness is, that's the way to be a real master. If you really want to be a master and master yourself, you have to learn how to quiet the monster down,
Yeah.
calm him down, make him sleep.
Yeah.
That's when you come in mastery,
If it helps, and it helps me, is just to always remember that you are not your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions. You are not that. That is not you. That is your experience.
Right.
The goal of meditation is to become the observer, to
Yeah.
observe your thoughts, like to see them and let them pass by. Don't feed the energy to it. Recognize that the thought is there and just let it be. You don't have
It's
to
a,
do anything to it, you
yeah,
know?
it's a mild form of deprogramming, you know,
Yeah.
um, you're kind of, deprogramming, because everything that we are is our thoughts. I mean, I hate to say it, but from when you're little, everything that's said to you, and everything that's done, and everything you see, that's what you operate on the rest of your life. You operate on that premise the rest of your life. Everything that like we've
Well,
said
that's
before, like before you're even 7 years old, you're programmed then. By then.
mhm,
So
mhm,
yeah, so you're literally, by quieting everything down and going back into the science, you're going back in time. You're going back to before, and you're trying to take those things away that turns you into whatever it turns you into.
right.
It could be something as simple as, you can't do that. You're not smart enough. And your whole
Yeah.
life, you put these limitations on yourself, and you thought, well, I probably can't do that. I can't go for a manager job because you got to be smart. I can't get a guy who makes a lot of money, or a girl who makes a lot of money, because you got to be smart. You'll start
Mhm.
putting these limitations, and you're in this box, and you got to go back and just, and the
Yeah.
more you do it, the more you can chisel away at that shit, chisel away at it, chisel
Yes.
away, because it's really there.
it's the inner child. You got to heal that inner child, and I've been doing a lot of work with that. And I'll tell you, it's really brought up a lot of great healing. I'll say, like a lot of things that you look at. So if you find there's a lot of meditations out there for your inner child, inner power, inner child healing, and those kind of meditations where you go back and you just, when you quiet your mind and let go, and you go back to an age. If you just allow the guide of the meditation will guide you to that, and then whatever age of that child that comes into mind, like mine was like 5-year-old child, so I saw myself as a 5-year-old child, which like really hit me because I look, my kids look just like I did when I was 5 years old now.
Right.
So it
Right.
was like, it was really touching, it was really powerful, it was really healing, but it also brings up things that I wasn't even aware of that are limiting my beliefs, that because they're all instilled from you at that point. Your fears and beliefs are all ingrained, like you said, or programmed. So it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like something that you don't consciously think of. It's just there. It's always
Yeah.
been there. You never
Yeah.
put any thought into it. That's just the way it is to you. So you have to really go into that and deconstruct that thought patterns, those beliefs, and take it back to its core. If you can find its core and you can replace that with a different belief, or not something that's limiting, you just remove it altogether.
Right.
That's how you begin to do the healing work. So Jessica from It's About Divine Time has a very amazing inner child healing program that she's offering. It's
Really.
on her page. Yeah, it's I've been working on it with her. I didn't do the whole program. I just kind of just did the hardcore stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just wanted to heal so bad. Like I know there's things. So she guided me through a lot of things that, it also
Is
resonated.
that on her channel or where is that?
Her channel is It's About Divine Time.
No, I mean, is that meditate or what was you calling it? A meditation or what'd you
No,
say?
she has a service that she offers,
Oh,
is an inner
oh,
child healing.
okay.
It's on her page, so it's like below all her videos. She has links to all that stuff. So if you guys haven't checked out her channel, do that. Um, her
Yeah.
her her card readings resonate with me on such a deep level. Like, she's very tuned into the energy that I participate in, that I'm a part of, and
Good.
it's really amazing. And she does a lot of like divine masculine, divine feminine readings, and twin flame readings, and different journeys. And it's like, it's usually very, very, very accurate. I haven't found many that weren't, but she's reading for the collective, and it's not always going to resonate with you personally, individually, every single time. But most
That's
times
how
it is.
everything is,
Mm-hmm.
some take it, and that's how I am with everything. Even my favorite people that I watch, I only take some of what they say and some of it I don't. I just
Yeah, it's whatever
ignore
feels right.
it. But my battery's going dead, so we're gonna wrap
Yeah,
this
we've
up.
been on here for a minute.
All
All
right,
right.
brother.
Well, let's man,
Good seeing
that was a good
good
show.
seeing you again.
Very good. Let's
And I
all right.
love all you people. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. I will
Love, love,
be
love.
putting a video out soon. I will be. I've
Yeah.
been I've been the wingman, the babysitter wingman lately.
Yeah,
School's
it's
out.
summertime.
Yeah, grandpa's. Oh my God, no
Yeah.
kids today.
Yeah, I
I,
know.
I think I don't know. I might be getting a call later. Can you pick them up from summer camp? Can you do this? Uh,
Like, nope, calling in dead today. All
all it did exactly,
right, brother. Well, it's definitely good seeing you. Always
sir.
much love for you, and
Yes,
everybody, be the change that you want to see in this world. Love yourself. I hope you got something from the video. Take what resonates, leave that other shit, and I love you.
you're
Hey,
beautiful. You're
bye
beautiful.
bye.
I see you there.
I see you.
Peace.